Hey guys, it's Lindsay and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing my March wrap up. So currently it is Thursday, April 2nd, and the world is going nuts right now, basically. So I'm currently in self-quarantine. At my company, everyone has to be working from home in isolation, essentially. So we have been working here for the last like 2 or 3 weeks now, and it's been interesting to say the least. But I started off this month really good. I read like 6 or 7 books in the first like 2 weeks of March. Fantastic, right? I was going at a speed where I was going to beat my February record, and it was just going to be a good month. Well, the entire country shut down about halfway into March, and so with that my mental health had kind of deteriorated a little bit, and I was just not in a good place. So now I feel like I am in a better place. April is going to be a really good month for me. I am participating in the Owls Readathon, so I have books that I'm going to be reading for that. And yeah, so that's pretty much it as far as my little updates. So let's just go ahead and get into the books that I read. So I did read a total of 7 books this month, which is great. 2 of which, no wait, 3 of which I listened to on audiobook. While I was still in the office, I was listening to audiobooks during the day while I was working. And then when I got home, I would just read something different. So that's basically what happened. But the first book I'm going to talk about here, I read on my Kindle and then subsequently bought the physical copies. So the first one being Born Darkly by Trisha Wolfe. This is the first book in the Darkly Madly duet. I did read the second one, but we'll get to that later. But this one is about a girl who is a psychologist and her patient who is a serial killer. And it's very Harley Quinn, Joker-esque. It's very Bonnie and Clyde. Just very flawed characters that find solace in each other. It was actually pretty good. I did end up giving this 4 stars. I do not recommend reading this in one sitting. I do recommend breaking it up because while I was reading this book screwed with my psyche pretty heavily. And so I don't recommend reading it all in one go, but I do recommend reading it over the period of maybe a couple of days. So this was really good and I highly enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. So the next book I'm going to talk about is a book that I listened to on audiobook, and that is Starry Eyes by Jen Bennett. Now this is the second book of Jen Bennett that I have read. I did read Alex Approximately during the Contemporary-a-thon. While it was cute, wasn't my favorite. This one I found slightly more entertaining than Alex Approximately. So I did end up giving this book 4 stars. It was very cute, contemporary. It was a lot longer than I was expecting. It's like over 400 pages, but it's really good. And this is about Zori and Lennon, and Zori and Lennon's parents hate each other. And well, really it's just Zori's dad hates Lennon's parents. Lennon's parents basically run like a sex shop right next door to his massage therapy parlor, basically. So it's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet type book. It was cute. I liked it. Would I read it again? Probably not. But I did really enjoy it, and I do recommend it to people. So this one, really cute. Okay, so then the next book that I ended up reading was again on audiobook. This book probably could have been at least 100 pages less than it was. I liked it. It just wasn't my, I don't think it was my cup of tea. So that book being Crosstalk by Connie Willis. This book is about a couple, and this couple gets this procedure done where they can have like better communication. So they can find out if it's like really meant to be, or, you know, basically if their minds are compatible towards each other. And that's like the type of procedure that you can have. Well, something goes wrong and it basically turns her into a telepath, and so she can hear everybody's thoughts, and it just makes things crazy for her. This book is like 400 and some odd pages, like almost 500 pages. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's like 480, 400 and, yeah, almost 500. I mean, literally, it's 498 pages. It was a good book. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. However, this book takes place over the course of like 3 days, and it's a 500-page book. Like, that's a lot. I couldn't handle this. Granted, it is like a 15-hour audiobook, and I did listen to it over the course of a couple of days, but I don't think I really enjoyed, I don't think I liked the writing style of this author, and I think that's what threw me. And I really wish that this book was 100 pages less than it was, because it just felt like it was dragging in certain spots. And I'm just like, I was like almost glad to be done with it. I was like, thank God I am done with this book. I do not have to continue on reading with it. While I do recommend it for those who like longer books and books that deal with like telepathic communication and just communication in general, I think people who enjoy those types of books will enjoy this one. I didn't particularly enjoy this, so it's good, but this book will probably be going in an unhaul here soon. While I did really like it, I just don't want to keep a book on my shelf that I know I'm not going to read again. So there's that. So then the next book that I ended up reading is the second part of the Darkly Madly duet, and that is Born Madly. And so this is just a continuation on of the first one. This one was very, very Bonnie and Clyde-esque. For me, it was really weird. So I ended up giving this one 4 stars as well. However, so these books are romances. Yes, they fall in love. It's not a secret. Like, they tell you that in the synopsis of the first book. What threw me with the second one is how they would get off on each other through murder. Like, it just threw me, but it was good. Like, if you like reading dark romances, this is the epitome of a dark romance. So I highly recommend if you are really into the dark romances. But yeah, so this one I enjoyed a little bit less than the first one, but I enjoyed it nonetheless, so I ended up still giving it 4 stars. Alright, the next book that I read, I listened to on audiobook while I was at work, and that is Order of Protection by Lexi Blake. This is the first book in the Courting Justice series that I think she has out. This is the first one. I do have the second one. I was planning on reading both of them in the same week. However, the second book was not on Audible Escape, and so I could not listen to it because it was going to cost me like $30 to buy. So I said no thanks. But it was okay. If you are into lawyer romances, you're really going to enjoy this one. I particularly did not, so I ended up giving this book 3.5 stars. But overall, it was okay. I don't think it was something that I will keep. Again, I'll probably unhaul this here in the future, but it wasn't bad. So there's that. And then the last book I read this month, or the last 2 books that I read this month, were my favorite of the month. This by far is my favorite in the series so far, and that is Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco. And I did also read Becoming the Dark Prince by Carrie Maniscalco. That the Becoming the Dark Prince is a novella that comes after all of the books, but I just went ahead and picked it up because it was from Thomas's perspective, and I really didn't care if I spoiled myself for what is to come in the third and fourth book. So I really enjoyed this. I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. By far my favorite out of the series so far. I am currently reading the third book, which is Escaping from Houdini. And I'm liking it. But this one, by far my favorite. Just the banter between Audrey Rose and Thomas, it just brings a smile to my face, and I just love whenever I get to read about their stories because it's just so much fun. I really enjoyed this. I initially gave it 4.5 stars, and then I just couldn't stop thinking about it, so I ended up giving it a full 5 stars. There's really nothing that I saw wrong with this. There was LGBTQ elements in the story. There is a little bit of a diversity between people from the UK, people from America, people from Russia. I do think there was a couple of people from Italy, and I do believe there was one person of color in this book as well, as far as the students are concerned at the school. So I really enjoyed this. I love this series so far. Like I said, I'm on the third book right now. I'm hopefully going to finish both of those this month, but with the owls going on, I don't know when those books are going to be done. Although Escaping from Houdini is part of my challenges that I have to do for my owls. So, but anyway, this is a really good book. I highly recommend the series if you haven't picked it up already. You definitely should because it's absolutely amazing, and I just can't stop thinking about it. So anyway, guys, those are all 6 or 7 books that I read this month in the month of March. Please let me know the books that you read this month. I'm hoping April is a lot better for me because it just, you know, the last couple of weeks I haven't felt myself, and I just really am hoping that I get back to normal and get back into my reading routine. So with that being said, you guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know the books that you read in the month of March, and if you liked this video, give it a like and a subscribe, and comment down below any video ideas that you want to see me do in the future, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.